Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya.
Rama 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 Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar ki jai. Sarvam Yogi Ramsuratkumar Arpanastu. It is with great joy and gratitude we have been able to sing the powerful Nama of Bhagwan, and we have offered it to the lotus feet of our Bhagwan. We have been going through glimpses in the life of Bhagwan, glimpses of the experiences of the devotees, and sometimes some teachings, depending upon what Bhagwan drops into my hand when I beg. The Bhiksha from the Divine Bhikshu. We saw yesterday how a devotee by name Sunanda and her family, her husband and child, living far, far, far away from the land of Yogi Ramsuratkumar and still so much absorbed in his glory, how her devotion developed into close attachment to Bhagwan, how the Nama keeps helping the family in different ways. We saw how she got a job after 5 years of unsuccessful attempts. Just after coming to the ashram and going back, we saw how the family received help unexpectedly from a friend of Sunanda's husband, so that the heart operation of her father took place in the hospital in a very smooth way. They didn't have to struggle for anything, and the hospital offered excellent services to them. How Bhagwan kept arranging detail after detail of an event. And we saw how in Kawaguchigo, a town downhill of Mount Fuji, has now a South Indian restaurant. And what's more, Yogi Ramsuratkumar has established himself in that place. Now there is a picture of Bhagwan. His Nama chanting is going on, and they are offering lighted lamp, incense sticks, every day. Imagine thousands of miles away, how strangely things happen, things come together by a divine arrangement. At the mere calling out of the name of Yogi Ramsuratkumar, today we shall see just one more incident from her life. She says, in 2019, a typhoon we call it Hagibis, typhoon, was to hit very close to Tokyo. They expected a heavy damage, and they had no idea how long it would last. And anyway, the warning was given everywhere. The government had allotted places for those people who lived in that area where they expected the heaviest damage. And many people in the neighborhood of Sunanda had vacated their place, took refuge in the shelter allotted by the government. The typhoon, they say it comes once in 60 years. This typhoon had the speed of 260 kilometers per hour. Heavy blowing of the wind. The previous day, Sunanda lives in a land which is shared by another Japanese family. A Japanese engineer is living next door in the same land. Only 2 houses. And they decided they would stay put in their houses even during the storm, no matter what. Sunanda was thinking, Yogi Ramsuratkumar is with us. Why should we fear? Though of course we would take cautious steps, yet we don't have to fear anything. Bhagwan is there with us. So the 2 families decided that they would stay put, and in case of emergency they would alarm each other and then would do the needful. Just before the storm hit, Sunanda went round across the road. The roads are lined up with beautiful trees on either side. Very neat, very beautiful. And it is nature's bounty everywhere. The streets would be very clean there. She just had one look at the whole structure, the landscape, and her heart melted. She said, Bhagwan, You have said, you have declared, you are the cosmic controller. You run the whole cosmos. Just see how beautiful they are, how vulnerable these trees are, how beautiful they are. When you come in the form of the typhoon, can you destroy this beauty? What you have created, such beauty? Please take pity on them, Bhagwan. Hey, the cosmic controller, please do not damage anything here. Let these beautiful trees stay put as they are. Please do not cause any damage. She prayed and prayed, chanting his name. And then the time came for the Typhoon Hagibis. They say that when it hit the place is Philippines, Japan, Russia, Alaska, Mariana Islands. That was the pathway for this grand typhoon. And they say that it cost 15 billion American dollars. So heavy was the damage caused everywhere. It took so long to set it right. But the day of the typhoon, Sunanda and family stayed put inside, and so did the other Japanese family. She said there was not a moment the electricity went off. The first thing that would be affected is electricity. Such strong pouring of rain and winds. The first damage would be to the electricity. But she says, strangely, to the delight of the devotees, there was no cut of electricity, not even a moment. When the typhoon had gone, when she went out to see, to examine the damages caused by it, she was stunned, astonished, flabbergasted. There was no puddle of water anywhere, no floods, and the trees were just as she left the previous day with a prayer to Bhagwan. Not a leaf had fallen, not a branch has fallen. Usually huge trees would be uprooted and they would be across the streets. But to her surprise and delight, there was no damage at all anywhere, just as she prayed. Miracle after miracle after miracle. It was an event. It was a night of miracles for her. When we appeal to the generosity and compassion of the Divine with a true heart of selflessness, we are surely answered by the Divine. True to the role of cosmic controller, Bhagwan did effect what she wanted, what she prayed for. How is this possible? When all others were afraid and took refuge in the government-allotted shelters, these people stayed bravely in their own houses, were ready to brave it up. But the storm had to obey the command of Yogi Ramsuratkumar not to affect those places. So everywhere else there was heavy damage. It took long time for them to set everything right. It was the usual natural typhoon, always causing heavy damage everywhere. The electric lines fell off, floods everywhere. The buildings would come down. The trees would fall out, yet there was no sign of any of this. What a wonder it is. I am stunned myself when I read about this. So it is possible to control the nature through our devotion and prayer. Just one selfless prayer. It is He who has come in the form of this beauty. It is He who stands there as all those beautiful trees. It is He who is the storm. It is He who is the damage as well. Everything is He. Whatever you see is He. Whatever you hear is He. Hadn't our Bhagwan declared often that He alone exists and there is nothing else, no one else. Which means whatever exists, whatever form and name, it must be only He. So when you appeal to this divine, the all-pervasive divine, the divine of all forms, the divinity, it surely answers us, it surely grants our prayer. What a wonder, the wonder of wonders. So we can surely control the prevalent situation of Corona as well. It takes one single prayer from one devotee. But then God seems to have His own plan for everything. Bhagwan used to say, Father's ways are mysterious. Very difficult to understand why a certain thing happens and why a certain thing does not. But whatever He does is for a specific purpose. And He will put it to use to His own advantage. The purpose of life is to go closer to God, to be drawn closer to God. This is what is achieved in every event of life in general, the entire creation. There is no doubt this is the purpose of this prevalent, I wouldn't say disaster, a very disturbing situation. Some God's purpose is achieved. All the same, it is our duty, because it's heart-rending what we see around. When I received this email from Sunanda, there was another email from Tokyo. I was curious. It was just one page where Bharati Sukumaran, Bharati has written her experience. Bharati is on-site. Bharati is working in the IT they would allot posts on site. So that the office must be in Tokyo and Bharati must be working from there. Now Bharati says that the whole family, my father was always devoted to the Siddha Purushas, the great masters. He would often read their literature with great interest and also watch videos related to them. One day, when he was watching a video of Shri Bala Kumaran, the writer, talking about Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the great master of Tiruvannamalai, suddenly it caught my interest. The way he spoke about Yogi Ramsuratkumar and the glory of his name, there was the sound of truth went deep into me. So there was something about the way he said it that took root in me, especially the Nama, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Jai Guraya. He accompanied his singing with the assurance, the promise of Yogi Ramsuratkumar, that when we would call out his name seeking help, he would surely rush help to us. Anything that you ask for would come to you. This was the assurance. And he was saying it with such authority that it went deep into her. Of course, Bharati did not know anything about Bhagwan, but somehow the name took root in her. And then, what happened strangely, that day, her cell phone, when she switched on, because probably her main work would depend upon that, the screen was off. However much she tried, it wouldn't come on. She started to wonder what could have gone wrong with it. She tried and tried and tried. It just wouldn't budge. And then suddenly, you see so many details she had stored in that, and she did not back it up also. So all those addresses, details would be gone. And unless you switch on the phone, how can you even work? Now she was in a dilemma. She didn't know what to do, and suddenly it flashed. Yogi Ramsuratkumar flashed. And then she remembered Shri Bala Kumaran's assurance that when you call out Yogi Ramsuratkumar, immediately whatever you want will come to you. Okay, let me try. It may sound very silly, but still it is worth trying. This is my first experiment with him. I do not know anything about him. I've just heard from somebody that this Nama is paying well. Okay, she started to chant Yogi Ramsuratkumar with a prayer that it should work because so many important details are there and there was no backup. She was so scared. And to her great wonder and delight, it switched on. She was so happy. Immediately she became very busy transferring all those details to a new cell phone. She went to a shop after that. She could not take the risk. She bought a new one. And then she became busy transferring all those details to the new one. And she says, once she did that, once she completed the process, the screen switched off and never came on again. Now this once again proved beyond doubt to her the efficacy of the name Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the grand power it contained, and what it could do in our practical life if we only trust its efficacy. So you see, she says with wonder in her voice, Yogi Ramsuratkumar must be busy with the whole world. There are details and details and details, infinite number of them, for the entire cosmos. This is a very silly detail, and here I was experimenting, and I had called out to him for a very simple, silly detail, but even that he answered with the same fervor. How could he pay such meticulous attention to even my small prayer? It's rather silly that I attempted it at all, yet he answered in full kindness. But then Yogi Ramsuratkumar has taken root in her soul. Now she knows it would take her to the ultimate dissolution also. It not only solves, but dissolves as well, in the end. So you see, be it Tokyo, Japan, or Alaska, or Argentina, or Australia, be it any part of the world, you simply have to call out to Yogi Ramsuratkumar, and the help is rushed to you as he promised. But then you have to call out in such a way that he would respond immediately. You see, Bharati did not do it with any devotion. She did not even know anything about Yogi Ramsuratkumar. She only wanted to experiment with this name, but even then the response came. So we do not know what it is that draws such a response from Yogi Ramsuratkumar, but we know that it definitely does. So let us appeal to his generosity, to his great compassion. Let us appeal to this cosmic controller. How many things he had done already without anybody's knowledge. He would say that this beggar job is something else. This beggar has come down only to do my Father's work. Meeting people and blessing them is only a small fraction of this mammoth work. Most of this beggar's work is hidden, and it concerns the whole cosmos. Bhagwan, we appeal to you again and again for your immediate divine intervention to extricate the entire humanity from the virulent grip of this dreadful virus and its variants. We appeal to you to bring back normalcy to every aspect of life, everywhere in the world. And Bhagwan, kindly uproot the panic of the pandemic and all other negativities as well. Please transform us. Especially in this prevalent situation, it's very important that we remain without fear. And Bhagwan, the rapid spread of the disease, only you could bring to a stop. We appeal to you, beg you again and again, to enter the medicine so that it works and kills the virus family. And Bhagwan, there are several people in varied places awaiting a room from the hospital and the right treatment. But the hospitals are overflowing. They do not know what to do. And there is a dearth of medicines as well, though of course they are making all arrangements. Bhagwan, please see to it that these people who deserve, who are in very much need of the right treatment, must get a room in the hospital. They must get well soon and come back healthy, come back home healthy. We beg you again and again and again that all those people who are afflicted, who are affected by this COVID and are suffering out of fear as well as the disease, please cure them. In 2 or 3 days they must get well. There must be speedy recovery for every one of them, so that they would be discharged soon from the hospital and come back home stronger than before. Nothing is impossible for you. And again we appeal to your generosity, your compassion, all those brave soldiers who sacrifice, who labor day and night against all challenges for the sake of the other lives, fighting the disease. Only you can give them protection, and we beg you to do so. And Bhagwan, you know how important it is, a boost to our economy. And above all, constant remembrance of your name and the right attitude to life, the attitude of being a good and fitting instrument in your hands, not in the hands of Maya. And Bhagwan, please give us that transformation, that purity of mind, so that we could see only your presence and your blessing in every happening of our life. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.
Yogi Ramsuratkumar.